Show 2020 in Las Vegas. There's a lot to do today, so let's jump right in. The expo opens at 8:30 a.m. In case you didn't make it there yesterday, now's the time. Make appointments with exhibitors in the mobile app or explore on your own. Dealer franchise meetings continue today, beginning at 8:30 a.m. and 10:15. We've got more workshops and exchange sessions for dealership employees who are ready to take their businesses and careers to the next level. They start at 9 a.m. today and continue at 10:30, along with the Distinguished Speaker Series running throughout the day. Catch the excitement on the expo floor when we'll hold an auction to benefit the NADA Foundation, all in support of Canine Companions for Independence. At the NADA Live Stage, just outside the expo, stop by for a fun segment and to learn something, or just hang out with us for a while and power your devices at the Power Lounge. Don't miss the Women Driving Auto Retail Brunch at the Encore at noon, a networking and education event for women who are leading the charge in shaping auto retail. If you don't already have a ticket, you can purchase one at registration. In today's general session, the Right Honourable David Cameron, former Prime Minister of the UK, will deliver the keynote address. That's what's happening today at the show. For details on times and topics, check the NADA Show app or the online schedule at NADA.
Chicka. All right, but we're back on. We're live. How you guys doing over here? You guys doing all right? I see you got the coffee. You got the $10 coffee going and everything. Got a sip slow. It's like a quarter a sip. It's crazy. Hope you guys are doing well. Hello to everyone back home in the live stream, watching all over the U.S., perhaps all over the world as well. We hope you guys are doing good. We still have one more last day. That's tomorrow. So I'm just saying, it's time to get on a plane. We could see you here live. But if you want to enjoy yourself, enjoy your Sunday, definitely feel free. We miss you here in Vegas. So let's get right to it, guys. We have a very special guest in the house today. He was part of our panel yesterday. Hireology is an incredible sponsor of ours. It's an incredible solution. The platform is helping all sorts of industries, and particularly our industry, as a matter of fact, hiring, maintaining, nurturing relationships, and so forth with your staffing. It is an incredible thing, an incredible tool. This man knows a thing or two. He's been around. He's been in software development and running things for over 20 years. This guy knows what's going on. He's got a cool sense of style as well. So why don't we get him on out here? So ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the CEO and founder of Hireology.com. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about hiring benchmarks. Welcome, Mr. Adam Robinson. Let's go. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, welcome. My name's Adam Robinson. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hireology, and I'm excited to talk with you this morning about hiring benchmarks. And my hope for the half hour we have together is that you can walk away from the time you're sharing here with me and size yourself as far as other dealers in the market from a talent acquisition and hiring standpoint. So we're going to share all sorts of great data with you. So let's take it away. The first thing I want to mention, and something I'm very proud of, is our collaboration with NADA. Hello, Joe. We were excited to partner with the association to launch the first ever HR 20 groups. So sure, many of you are familiar with 20 groups. We see today in the market the elevation of the HR professional as a real strategic contributor to the success of dealerships in this industry. And with NADA's long history in helping peers network and collaborate through their 20 group program, we partnered with them to launch the first ever HR 20 groups here in the industry. And so for the HR professionals here in attendance, or for dealers or managers in attendance who want to provide their HR leaders an opportunity to collaborate with their peers, learn and grow, I invite you to stop by either talk to Joe, who's standing right here next to the monitor, or stop by NADA's booth and ask about HR20 groups. I'll share with you some of the results that they have seen, participants have seen, and how they've moved the needle by learning best practices from one another. So last year, we published, along with the association, the first ever human capital management benchmarks in automotive. And so with my time today, I want to share with you some of the things we learned in aggregating data from the 4,000 new car franchise dealers that we work with. And so everything I'm going to share with you powers that industry benchmark report and will give you a sense, I hope, of where you might fall with one of the biggest challenges we all face, which is keeping our stores staffed. So let's talk about that. Okay, 3 things I'm going to cover. The first thing I'm going to talk about are metrics around supply and demand. Right now, we are in the biggest supply-demand imbalance of labor in any of our working lifetimes. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about recruitment, marketing, and ad performance. So many of you I know think about all day long how to make sure that you've got enough of a talent pipeline to hire the people you need to be successful. I'm going to share with you some cost metrics by channel. We can talk about what works, what's more efficient, what's less efficient. And then finally, I want to talk about the hiring process. Right? And all of this goes to say that there are people that want to work for our industry, but we aren't doing everything that we can possibly do to welcome and invite them in and be responsive. And I want to talk about the concept of lost applicants. So this is what unemployment looks like today. Last month's report had us at about 3.5% unemployment. There's some markets like Minneapolis, Sherry's market, you just heard from Sherry Schultz of Walzer, 2%, Salt Lake City, sub 2%. It's what I call zero-sum recruiting, which is I win, you lose, right? I hire someone to my organization only if you have lost someone. And it's a real battle for talent out there. In fact, if every American looking for work today found a job tomorrow, we would still have in this country 1.7 million open jobs. If everyone found a job tomorrow, we are still short 1.7 million individuals, which just speaks to the imperative for dealers and our management teams to be really, really good at this stuff. Something else that we can blame millennials for is the fact that they're having children about 10 years later than my generation did or the generation before. And so, what we're fighting, in addition to the biggest demand for talent we've seen in 50 years, we're also finding that the size of the entry-level labor pool, that's 16 to 24-year-olds entering the market for the very first time, the job market, over the last 20 years will have dropped by about 20%. So individuals born after 1980, launching later, this is a story we all have heard. It's impacting home purchases, car purchases, and it's also impacting the next generation of the workforce. Does anyone want to guess the average age of a first-time W-2 job in the United States right now? Average age that someone gets their very first payroll gig? 23. 23 years old, right? So it's a smaller pond that we're all fishing from, and it just goes to show, again, that we have to be really good at this. And the most acute issue that I know we all face is in skilled technicians. So when you see proliferation of rideshare, transportation as a service, the emergence of autonomous driving, what we all know about these vehicles is that they get about 5 times the wear and tear of a privately owned vehicle. So it's good news for those of you with a strong or robust service operation, but the challenge is here. We're going to need 75,000 technicians by 2026, and we know about half of them are going to come from. Right? So not only do we have to be good at recruiting and hiring experienced techs, my ask for you is, you walk back into your stores after the conference and you think long and hard about how to grow your own talent. Again, something that we talk about all the time in these HR20 groups. When we survey the market, we partnered with Cox Automotive 2 years ago and asked the job seeker market, when you're considering a job, what industries interest you most? And what you can see here on the screen is that our industry, when we ask, is an automotive career of interest to you, what the labor market says to us is we are tied with forestry and fishing as a destination career path, right? So it's, should I be a fire watcher or should I work in the automotive industry? That's a perception challenge we have. And when it actually gets even more challenging when we say very specifically, are you interested in a career in an automotive dealership, a new car franchise dealership? Only about 1 in 100 job seekers will say, I'm very interested in learning more about this career path. But if you look at the top of the survey, you see something really interesting. And you find that nearly 30% of job seekers say that they would be interested in a retail opportunity. Nearly 20% say they're interested in hospitality opportunities. And 17% say they're interested in finance, insurance, and real estate opportunities. So I ask you this question. What is a dealership? It's 6 businesses under one roof. It's a retail operation where we're working with cutting-edge products, right? These are big dollar purchases, beautiful showrooms. In most cases, we're working for dealers that are the bedrock of the local community and a multi-generational business, philanthropic. The pay is fantastic if you get up and ramped, right? So we're a retail business. We're also a finance and insurance business. Most larger platform groups are also a pretty robust real estate operation. And so we ask job seekers what they're interested in. The difference between the nearly 30% of the market that say they're interested in retail and the 1% of the market that think dealerships are a good opportunity, that spread is a brand tax in this industry. It is the cost of a pervasive misperception that automotive is not an ideal career destination. And I'm here to tell you, well, you all know this to be true, it's a fantastic career. And our opportunity is to showcase this industry as a destination where you can do well, have a career path, make great money, support your family, and it's not the dealerships of yesterday. So that's our charge here in this market, and we're excited to be a part of telling that story. So now to some of the data. In 2019, what we saw is that dealerships were opening more jobs. So what you can see here is by rooftop size, from single point stores up to 11 rooftops plus, across the board, the number of jobs in our industry increased. So for single point stores, about 5% more opportunities were opened in 2019. The larger platform stores growth is still up, but it's smaller, right? So what does that tell us? It tells us that job growth is happening in our smaller operators. And I know if you're a single point operator out in the market, particularly if you're not in a tier 1 or tier 2 MSA, if you're a rural operator, it's harder than it's ever been before to attract the talent you need to be successful. And not only is there more demand, but with the supply of talent being as restricted as it's been, what we found is the number of applicants you're getting per open job is dropping. And so you can see for single point operators, up to our 5-store platforms, about a 10% drop in the number of people applying for jobs. For larger platforms, they're seeing a 6% drop. So here we have more jobs opened, and we have fewer people applying for those jobs. And then third, and finally, it is taking more applicants per hire to get the job filled. And there are all kinds of reasons that might be happening. Single point operators, about 3% more applicants to make a hire, and then you look at the larger platforms, it's 25% more applicants, more leads in the door to get a hire. That could be because higher skilled, higher quality, more experienced people are already employed. There's few of them out there. We're in a tight labor market. We're seeing people coming off the sidelines and applying for roles that on paper they might not be qualified for. But the story behind the story is, if we think about this in the right way, and we really think about what skills and experience drive success in automotive retail, I think if you survey dealers here in this crowd, what they'll tell you is it's not about people from the business, it's about the people not in the business that we're trying to bring in. And so it's more jobs, fewer people applying, and more people to get the hire. Again, all that says is when it comes to talent acquisition and owning the hiring process and platform as a core and critical part of your success, 5 years ago at this conference, I was talking about the strategic value of getting ahead of what we saw coming. And today I'm here to tell you that it is no longer getting ahead of it. It's now table stakes. If you are not managing your hiring process, owning your employment brand, and managing channels the same way you manage your consumer marketing initiatives, you're missing the table stakes to fill the jobs that you need to be successful, right? This is not a nice to have, this is now a must do. All right, so right now, opening more roles, fewer applicants, and more applicants to make a hire. So what that means is with the leads you are getting, we've got to be really good at bringing them through a process. So let's talk about some metrics around hiring process. What you know from marketing to consumers for cars and service, right? 20 years ago, the way we did that is we would go buy leads. Our third-party lead vendor would email leads to us. We'd email around resumes to managers. Sometimes they'd follow up, sometimes they wouldn't. Next month, we'd send more money to our friends at our consumer lead gen company, and they'd come in and we'd rinse and repeat. And today, that's very, very different. Right now, you would never contemplate operating your business without a dedicated consumer site for your dealership where you're hosting the inventory locally, you're driving organic traffic, and you're moving a process through. And so I want to share with you now marketing costs by channel to give you a sense of where we're seeing the most efficiency in hiring in our industry. Far and away, the most effective channel from a cost and efficiency standpoint is employee referral programs. And people ask me all the time, should I be paying my employees when they refer someone who gets hired and stays? My answer is emphatically yes, we should be doing that. Good people know good people. It takes about 4 applicants, you can see here on the chart, 4 applicants to get a hire when those hires are employee referrals. That cost per hire from a marketing standpoint is about $21, and cost per applicant about $6. It's the most efficient recruitment channel you can operate. The challenge is that it's not as scalable as you need it to be. There's only so many people in the pool of employees referring friends, so we have to do more. That brings us to the next most efficient channel, and that is your own dealership career site. Dealerships that are operating their own dedicated career site, right, hosted themselves, linked to their consumer brand, is the most efficient channel you can own for yourself. It takes, what the data from our 4,000 customers shows is it takes about 10 applicants to make a hire if they're coming organically through your own dealership career site. That marketing cost per hire is just under $50, and the cost per applicant is better than employee referrals. It's at about $5 per applicant, right? It's a great channel that you should be thinking about taking advantage of. And then we've got what we call organic job board traffic. These are free sites that you absolutely should be taking advantage of. It's that free applicant traffic that you get when you post jobs for free. The challenge with organic job boards, you get a lot of volume, but the conversion rate is far, far lower. And so what you find is it takes about 126 applicants to get to a hire through organic job board traffic. That cost per hire from a marketing and processing standpoint is about $87, and the cost per applicant is $1, right? So you can see the conversion rate, right? You've got a low cost per applicant, but a much higher all-in cost per hire. It just takes more time to run that play. Then we've got the new entrants into recruitment advertising, our friends at Google and Facebook, of which we are an integrated partner now. All the social media channels, all the hard work you do with Google to optimize your brand for consumers, that whole playbook is directly applicable to your recruitment marketing efforts. And so if we're working with Google for jobs or working with Facebook jobs, what we find is a highly efficient channel. It's about 21 applicants to get to a hire. The costs are higher though, right? The cost per hire at about $250 through that channel, and the cost per applicant at about $12. And then we've got, the way we've done it for the last 30 years in this industry, it's paid job boards. What you find is you really increase efficiency on applicant to hire when you're paying to sponsor a job posting. And there are lots of vendors out there where you can do this, but the cost per applicant's very high. You're looking at about a $75 cost per applicant, and when you factor in the conversion rate, your all-in cost to make a hire paying to advertise your job is just under $2,700. And so the moral of this story, based on what I just showed you about demand for talent, is that you really need to be doing all of these things. There is no one channel that is a silver bullet where if you just spend enough money, you're going to fix your problem. Just like your consumer retailing operation, you would never in a million years contemplate taking your entire marketing budget and sending it to one third-party vendor and just saying, I hope that works. You've got to spread those dollars out in a way that's efficient. And so a winning strategy in recruitment marketing is to know where you stand across all of these channels. And so if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know what my costs are, I'm not sure how we're doing by channel, it speaks to the need for a system or platform to help you manage that, and that's of course what we do. Selfishly, I'll say that. But come talk to us about that. There's some help we can do. Right? Again, sourcing efficiency from lowest to highest. Just to repeat, referrals and your career site are your most efficient channel. Third party, effective but your least efficient channel. Career sites, if we dig down to the next layer, well, what do you know about your consumer.com site? What you know is your organic consumer traffic for car buyers and service. They've shopped anywhere from 4 to 6 stores, maybe more. They've spent hours online deciding if you're a dealership they want to do business with. They go to the VDP, they find the vehicle they want, they send you the lead. That lead is more likely to buy and convert, more likely to have a higher margin on the front and back. They're more likely to report higher CSI, and they're more likely to come back and buy another car from you. Right? They've shopped, they've decided, they like you, and if you will only make it easy for them, they will buy the car. It is no different with your employment site. If you drive effective branding with the right technology, your career site will generate about 4% of your quality applicants. And it seems like a small number, except when you look at the data across the industry, that 4% of applicants is yielding in this industry today about 1/3 of all the hires we've made this year and last year. So here you have a low volume, very high effective channel that we've got to take advantage of. No different than the reason you make investments in your own consumer branded website and make sure VDPs are working and Google's playing nice with you and all the things you know are table stakes in selling cars. How long does it take your internet department to get back to a consumer lead? Somebody shout it out. A lead comes into the internet department, that consumer's getting an email or phone call. 3 seconds, 5 minutes, right? 15 minutes, and then every 15 minutes thereafter for the next 90 days, right, until the person blocks the email. The point is you're all over it. A lead comes in for a car buyer or a service buyer, you are all over that lead. How long on average, speaking to hiring process, how long on average does it take dealers in this industry to get back to job applicants? The average is 5 days. We're all busy. There's always deals to be done. We're out on the lot. We're merchandising. We're in the store. We have so much to do. And truly, I understand that you think the last thing you want to be doing is reviewing resumes. But what I can ask you is, how many cars would you sell if you waited 5 days to get back to an internet lead? You're right. The answer is 0. 0 cars. We would never think that it was okay to wait 5 days to get back to an internet lead. Yet, we seem to be, the data shows us, okay with waiting 5 days to get back to a job applicant. That's someone that has shopped your brand. That is someone that's decided that you look like a great place to work. They've read your content. They've talked to their spouse or significant other. You're the one that stood out, and with all the excitement and hope in the world, they apply for your job, and they don't hear from you for a week. Are we meeting expectations? No, we are not, right? In fact, what we've done is erode our own brand, and what we see is that a consumer that has a poor experience in the hiring process with your store is not only not going to work for you, they're also not going to buy a car or service from you. So not only are you impacting your employment brand, you're impacting your local brand in your market. Most dealerships, when we look at website traffic, get as much traffic for job seekers as they get for car buyers. So it's not about your consumer brand and your employment brand being different. Guys, they are the same thing. It is your brand. You have one brand, and that brand should be consistent from a consumer experience standpoint. What the data shows us is that that's not the case today, and my hope for our industry is that we can start to shrink this gap. We can start to shrink this gap. If a job seeker starts looking for work today, 1/3 of those job seekers are working for someone else within 2 weeks. So 1/3 of the market is working for someone else within 2 weeks, and we're taking 5 days to get back to them. We've taken half of our available opportunity off the board, right? So there's, I hope, some motivation to be quicker. Furthermore, what we find in the research is that 70% of job seekers walk away from your opportunity if they interview with you and you don't follow up within a week, right? I take time, I come into the store, I'm invested, I'm excited, I interview, I think it goes well, and then a week later you follow up with, I'm out. Because we're not competing with other dealers on the row like we have been for the last 20 years. You know, 5 years ago, the conversation was, how can I get a leg up on my competitive dealer in my market? Now we're competing for talent with literally every employer in our market. We've got the Facebook distribution center, we've got the Apple stores, we've got the hotels and restaurants, we've got the banks, financial institutions. Everyone is after the same people that we are after. We don't have a recruiting issue. What we have is a response rate problem. This is a retailing issue, because jobs are products. Jobs are products that, just like vehicles, must be retailed. Retailed direct to consumer digitally. And your follow-up has to look like your car buying follow-up, or else you're just missing too much opportunity, right? And you end up having to buy the difference in terms of leads. Here by role across the United States for 2019 is the average time to review by job in our industry. I know of no dealer at this conference that doesn't need more salespeople or technicians, right? Everyone has the need, but the actions or behaviors would indicate that we are not doing what we need to do to be consistent with that demand we're feeling. Right? So if you're sitting here thinking, okay, so what? The single most important thing you can do to increase your recruiting effectiveness is to review applicants faster, respond quickly, and run a consistent hiring process, which means you need to have one, and you need to have accountability to follow it. And what I've started recommending, based on where we are just in terms of the talent market, is that someone in your organization, their pay plan has to include KPIs for recruitment metrics. The next question is, okay, who? I would argue the general manager. Part of their bonus or comp plan at that, Monday or Tuesday morning all-team meeting, when we're putting unit numbers up on the board, we should be putting recruitment metrics up on the board in that Monday morning meeting. And we should be asking, are we doing the right things we need to build and keep the team? Time to review by role for service techs, just under 5 days. That service tech is worth $1,000 a day in gross profit production to your dealership. So you're basically saying it's okay that I'm lighting $5,000 of opportunity cost on fire just sitting on applicants, right? Would you like a $5,000 gross profit add back just because you look at leads quicker? I mean, yes, that's just found money. across every role that you fill in your store, in your group. Average time to hire by role. In 2019, what we saw is the quickest role from a job open to job offer made standpoint is our F&I manager. Takes just about 2 weeks on average to hire an F&I manager in the industry. Absolutely the most difficult from a time to hire perspective are parts managers. And you know, you understand why good parts managers are super difficult. It's hard to recruit someone from outside the business. They had to have come up from the lane, have advisory experience. It's just hard, right? That talent pool is pretty small. Service techs are running at about 21 days or 3 weeks. There's a metric that we use to define something we call lost applicants. And a lost applicant is someone that's trying to work for you, but because of a response time issue or follow-up problem, you haven't gotten back to them and the process has extended. What we know is if that process goes longer than 21 days, they're out. They're absolutely out. And in fact, what we found in 2019 is that over 90% of anyone hired in this industry last year, and we processed 100,000 hires last year, 90% of everyone hired by a car dealer last year was someone whose resume was opened and responded to within 72 hours. 72 hours, that's your window. At 21 days, you've lost them forever. And last year, 2 million people tried to work for us, and we did not bother to get back to them in a timely fashion. 2 million people tried to work in this industry, and we quite literally did not follow up with them. And so you may look at that and you feel bad. But I look at this, and this is the opportunity. This is the opportunity to look at your hiring process differently, to look at it as core and critical to what you do. We don't have a recruiting problem. What we have is a process, response rate, and marketing issue. And with the right process and accountability, and with the right tools and technology, the right partner, you can address these issues. Part of it's technology and process, and part of it's on us, right? It's not allowing for us to do this the way we've always done it, right? And so there's my challenge to everyone who's invested some time to listen to me over the last half hour. Go forth into your market and start to take a look at these numbers. Hiring is getting more difficult. We talked about recruitment ad performance by channel. You have some perspective about how to maybe look at this differently. And then now you know hiring process, step one is all about response rate. It's all about response rate. This is a sales and marketing funnel, right? This is not an administrative function. This is not buried in the HR office in the back of the store or upstairs. This is a sales and marketing funnel. Recruitment is sales and marketing, and it should be run like a sales and marketing process. So with my final minute, I want to share with you as a real plug to NADA, to Kelly Smith and to Joe and the team that works so hard to make these 20 groups successful. What you can find, again, pure shout out to the work these guys are doing. Dealer platforms whose HR leader is a member of one of these 20 groups see HR success metrics vastly improved over dealers whose HR leaders are not a part of one of these 20 groups. And so if you're an HR leader interested in listening and thinking, I don't know how my dealer or principal or general manager is going to justify sending me to one of these 20 groups, or if you're thinking about sending your leader who may not be here at the show and you want some justification, it's right here on the page. I mean, and bottom line, cost to hire somebody, you're learning from your peers, you're just better. In fact, you're 30% better. Fewer lost applicants, shorter time to hire, fewer days to review. Those are all good things, right? So again, I encourage you, stop by NADA's booth, ask about HR20 groups, and take a look. We've got a second group stood up and running. The next meeting's in April, and if you work hard, you can get there, and we'd love to see you there. If anyone wants to talk more about hiring metrics or process, come and see us at the Hirology booth. Look for the folks in the lab coats, and we're at 4137, I think, in the main hall. Come on by, have a conversation, and thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adam Robinson, co-founder, CEO of Hireology.com. Very nice to have you here. We're happy you guys are here. So don't forget to go check out their booth. They are at 4137. That's here in Central Hall, 4137. Shout out to Hireology. And let's not forget all some of those things he was talking about. It's really powerful. He was talking about how recruitment is really sales and marketing. And if you really think about it, it really, really is. What else did he say? He said, go forth and look at the numbers because they tell you everything. Follow the number trail, follow the data, and it'll lead you to the right place. So we're happy you guys are here. We're going to take a little break. We're going to be back on top of the hour here, and we're going to keep talking about some hiring and stuff like that. But in the meantime, I have a couple pieces of invaluable, limited edition swag, all right, that this could be worth a lot of money one day. I have a couple of these things. I want to give them out to some of you folks out there. Check this out as I'm knocking over bottles of water. So we got a little, you know these little glow ice cube deals? Look at that. And you see that? Oh, look at that. All right, so I'm going to hook somebody up with this stuff. You don't see a NADA branded light up ice cube every day. So I got a couple trivia questions for you. I'm going to give these out. And by the way, if you want more free stuff, all you got to do is go to the NADA Pavilion, which is in the back of Central Hall, and they got all kinds of free stuff. But let me ask a couple Las Vegas questions. Feel free to shout out anyone with an earshot. Who can tell me the eccentric billionaire that once lived on the top floor of the Desert Inn and didn't want to talk to anyone for months and had a lot to do with building Las Vegas? Anybody know? There, raise your hand. Where's that? Where's that person? It's coming. You good at catching? Here we go. No liability. This is all on you, buddy. Here we go. Going high. Nice. Very well done. Howard Hughes is indeed the correct answer. Howard Hughes, man, he developed half this town here in Vegas. I'll have one for you right here. What is this now? It used to be called is it the Westgate? I guess that's what, it's been so many. It used to be the Las Vegas thing. There's so many different hotel names. But the major hotel that's right next to us, that also has a top floor. That has a big penthouse up there. And another old school legend that ended his career in Vegas used to live at the top floor of this hotel right next to us. Who can tell me who that is? Yes, that's right, Mr. Elvis Presley. Coming high, brother. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much right there. All right, so we got a little trivia. And again, you guys want more free stuff, just go to our NADA Pavilion. We have lots of giveaways, cool stuff going on in the back of Central Hall right there. All right, we're going to be back up top of the hour. Appreciate you guys being here. Feel free to hang out. And cheers to you guys back home. All right, see you guys soon. Cheers.